If you're constantly running late, forgetting important tasks, or feeling like your brain is always in overdrive, you might be dealing with something more than just being scattered. What if I told you that millions of successful adults live with ADHD, and most of them had no idea until their 30s, 40s, or even 50s? Today we're breaking down the biggest myths about adult ADHD and sharing the management strategies that work. Stick around because myth number 3 might completely change how you think about ADHD treatment. Let's start with the basics. ADHD isn't just about hyperactive kids who can't sit still. That's actually one of the biggest misconceptions. Adult ADHD affects 4 to 5% of adults worldwide. But here's the thing. It looks completely different than childhood ADHD. While kids might be bouncing off the walls, adults with ADHD are more likely to experience internal restlessness. You know that feeling when you're sitting in a meeting but your mind is racing through tomorrow's to-do list, last week's conversation, and whether you remembered to lock the front door. That's what adult ADHD can feel like. The 3 main types are predominantly inattentive, think difficulty focusing, forgetfulness, getting easily distracted, predominantly hyperactive impulsive, that's restlessness, interrupting others, making quick decisions without thinking them through, and combined presentation, which is exactly what it sounds like. But here's what makes adult ADHD tricky to spot. Many adults with ADHD become masters of disguise. They develop what we call coping mechanisms, elaborate systems of reminders, overscheduling, or even using anxiety as a motivator to get things done. You might set 15 alarms, write everything on your hand, or work best under extreme pressure. These strategies can work for years, but they're exhausting. And when life gets more complex, new job, relationship, kids, these band-aid solutions start falling apart. Which brings us to the myths that keep adults from getting the help they need. Myth number 1, ADHD is only a childhood disorder that you grow out of. This is completely false. Research shows that 60 to 70% of children with ADHD continue to have symptoms as adults. The symptoms don't disappear, they evolve. That hyperactive kid might become an adult who feels restless in meetings, has trouble relaxing, or constantly fidgets with their phone. The inattentive child might become an adult who struggles with paperwork, loses important documents, or has difficulty following through on projects. Myth number 2, and this one really gets me fired up. Adult ADHD is just an excuse for being lazy or disorganized. Neuroimaging studies show actual structural differences in ADHD brains. The prefrontal cortex, your brain's CEO responsible for planning, decision-making, and impulse control, shows decreased activity in people with ADHD. This isn't a character flaw or lack of willpower, it's a neurological difference. Telling someone with ADHD to just focus harder is like telling someone with glasses to just see better. The hardware is different. Myth number 3, and this is the one I mentioned earlier. Medication is the only effective treatment for ADHD. While medication can be incredibly helpful, it's not the only tool in the toolbox. Effective ADHD management is like a 3-legged stool. You might have medication, therapy, and lifestyle changes. Some people need all 3 legs, others might do great with just 2. The key is finding what works for your brain. Finally, myth number 4. Adults with ADHD can't be successful professionally. This couldn't be further from the truth. Many entrepreneurs, artists, emergency responders, and innovative thinkers have ADHD. The same brain that struggles with boring paperwork might excel at creative problem-solving, thinking outside the box, or hyper-focusing on passionate projects. So now that we've busted these myths, let's talk about what actually works. Let's start with medication, because for many adults, it's a game changer. There are 2 main categories, stimulants and non-stimulants. Stimulants work for about 70 to 80% of adults with ADHD. But here's what's crucial. Medication isn't one size fits all. What works for your friend might not work for you, and that's okay. Working with a knowledgeable healthcare provider to find the right fit is essential. Cognitive behavioral therapy specifically designed for adult ADHD teaches practical skills. We're talking time management, organization systems, and addressing the negative self-talk that often comes with years of struggling. This isn't just think positive thoughts. It's learning concrete strategies like breaking big projects into smaller steps, using external reminders, and creating systems that work with your ADHD brain, not against it. Now, lifestyle changes, and this is where you can start making changes today. Exercise is like medication for ADHD. It increases dopamine and norepinephrine, the same neurotransmitters that ADHD medications target. We're not talking marathon running. Even a 20-minute walk can improve focus for hours afterward. Sleep is huge. ADHD brains often struggle with sleep, but poor sleep makes ADHD symptoms worse. It's a vicious cycle. Consistent sleep schedules and good sleep hygiene can be absolutely transformative. Finally, organizational systems. Your ADHD brain needs external structure. This might mean digital calendars with multiple reminders, breaking tasks into tiny steps, or using timers to work in focused bursts. The Pomodoro technique, working for 25 minutes, then taking a 5-minute break, works really well for many people with ADHD because it matches natural attention spans. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. You don't have to do this alone. Building a support team is crucial. This might include understanding family and friends, ADHD support groups, coaches, therapists, or workplace accommodations. The key is education, helping the people in your life understand that ADHD is real, and that you're not just being difficult or lazy. Online communities can be incredibly valuable. There's something powerful about connecting with other adults who understand what it's like to lose your keys for the 3rd time this week. Here's what I want you to remember. Adult ADHD is real, it's treatable, and it's not your fault if you're struggling. Success with ADHD isn't about becoming neurotypical. It's about understanding your unique brain and finding strategies that work for you. Whether you're newly diagnosed, suspected you might have ADHD, or you're supporting someone who does, remember that this is a journey. Be patient with yourself, celebrate small wins, and don't be afraid to ask for help. If this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. What's one ADHD myth you've encountered? Or what's one strategy that's made a difference in your life? And if you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. I share evidence-based content about mental health and neurodiversity every week. Thanks for watching, and remember, your ADHD brain isn't broken, it's just different. And different can be pretty amazing. For counseling services, contact River North Counseling by visiting https://www.rivernorthcounseling.com or calling 312-467-0000.